Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope that you're having a great week, a great last couple of weeks. I know I haven't been as good at doing the videos every week like I was, but trying to get a little more regular about it. We're coming, if you're in the U.S., we're coming right up on our Thanksgiving. Not this coming Thursday, but the following Thursday will be our Thanksgiving. I'm very much looking forward to a shorter work week because we'll be off Thursday and Friday that week, so that's really nice. This past week I worked 58.5 hours, including some on Saturday, so I'm exhausted. I feel like a zombie. So just a few quick updates here. Last weekend I did go to see Jeremy, and as it turns out, it's our last visit in person for the time being, really for the winter, because wish I could show you out my window. There's snow on the ground. Got our first sticking snowfall last night, so with my phobia, anxiety of driving in the snow, unfortunately I won't be making many or if any in-person visits just because of that. And I don't remember if I mentioned this in my last video, but I did get injured at work about 3 weeks ago. So what happened was, as I work, in a uniform company, and I work in the stock room, which means doing things like sewing, getting new uniforms ready for employees, and current accounts that we have. And then we do what's called return to stock, meaning we take garments that maybe the employees have quit or something along those lines, and then we go through them, see if they can be reused, and put them back into stock for reuse. So this Tuesday will be 3 weeks since the injury. I went out into the plant and got a great big, it's probably about 6 feet wide, 5 to 6 feet wide, rolling rack, and they're probably about 6 feet high, and or 5.5. Anyway, it's just a rolling rack that we put garments on to transport them around. I was trying to get a load of garments from just outside of our stockroom area into the stockroom, and I got the wheel got caught in a crack in the floor, and it tipped over. And it was a full rack, so probably 100 pounds or more of clothes. It actually, thankfully, the rolling rack tipped away from me, so it hit the wall, but the bottom of it, the base, came up and it hit me in my shin. And of course, there's a big purple bruise, and I also developed a hematoma, which is a collection of blood under the skin due to that injury. Well, I wish I could show you. It's still pretty ugly looking. The hematoma's not really gone down a lot in the last few weeks. And part of that being I'm on my feet so much. I don't have time to elevate it and put heat on it like I was instructed to do by the urgent care. So that's where I'm at. It's going to be a slow healing process. Like I said, it's been almost 3 weeks and it's still looking pretty ugly. It's not painful, but it's not real pretty to look at either. I'm just thankful it wasn't worse. It could have been a whole ugly thing if all of that clothes had fallen on me. So I'm just recovering from that injury, and unfortunately, when I'm not at work, I got things to do at home, dishes, cleaning. I just don't have a minute to sit and put my leg up, and let this heal. So, like I said, I'm really not hurting. I'm not in any pain. It just looks ugly, and time, well, it'll just take a lot of time, apparently. And it was 10 days post-injury that I even went to the urgent care anyway. At first, I thought, oh, it's just a bruise. 10 days later, there's still a bruise, and I could feel the lump, and I thought, oh, I better get it checked. They don't typically drain them. So, I guess that's a good thing, because it involves, making an incision in the skin, and, oh, anyway, that's where I'm at with that. Thursday, my youngest son turned 18, and that was a little bit emotional for me, because, I'm the mother of 2 adults, and I don't think I should be that old, but here we are. Anyway, so that's just a quick update on where things are there. On my last video, I did get some comments and suggestions, and one of those was to tell you 10 things that you maybe don't know about me. So, it took me a little bit to sit down and think of what kind of things that most people don't know about me, but I did come up with a list, and so I am going to share that with you. 10 things you don't know about me, no particular order. Number 1, the movie that scared me most as a child was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. When I was in kindergarten, I could not sit through that movie because I was terrified when Violet turned into a blueberry. It seems silly now, and I can watch it now without a problem, but when I was a kid, I was terrified. And that was the thing movie that scared me the most as a child. Number 2, something else you don't know about me. I have emetophobia, which is a really fancy way of saying I have an irrational fear of vomiting. Also kind of silly. I have no idea what this stems from. But ever since I can remember, I have been extremely paranoid and fearful of vomiting. Even to this day, when I tell myself, everybody gets sick sometimes, and every time I might have a little bit of an upset stomach, it doesn't mean I'm going to throw up, but I can get really obsessive about it. I have a irrational fear of vomiting. If you knew me and saw me in person, you maybe would pick up on this, but number 3, I have an anxiety disorder that causes me to pick at my skin. Another thing that I've been dealing with for as long as I can remember, I've mentioned it to doctors in the past that it bothered me, and nobody has ever really given me any kind of constructive suggestions or anything, or barely even acknowledged it, that it was a concern of mine. But because of that, I have lots of scars, small scars on mostly my arms, from where I sit and pick out my skin. And I hate wearing tank tops and short sleeves and bathing suits because of that. I'm very self-conscious about it. And if I tan, and I spend some time outside and I get a tan, then those scars become more prominent. And I'm very self-conscious about that. Number 4, I've been wearing glasses since I was 8. I was about in the 3rd grade when I got my first pair of glasses, and it's kind of funny because I told my parents that I couldn't see the board at school, and I think they just thought I was exaggerating, but I remember clearly not being able to read the board and having to get off of my desk and walk up to the front of the room because I couldn't see, and being very embarrassed about it. So, 30 plus years of wearing glasses. Number 5, I identify as bisexual. A lot of, gender and sexuality is much more talked about. It's much less taboo to talk about those kind of things. I never really officially came out to my family. I don't feel like I need to. I don't haven't pursued a relationship, like a serious relationship with another female in, a very, very long time. But that's definitely how I would identify myself. Number 6. I was once hospitalized for 5 days in a mental hospital for my depression. Now, this would have been about 10 years ago when I was in my second marriage. That was not necessarily abusive, but it wasn't healthy. And I was still struggling a lot with my depression at that point, and it got to the point where I was suicidal, and I did check myself into a hospital for 5 days and got some help. I don't talk about it a lot, but I'm not necessarily ashamed of it either. I mean, we all need help sometimes. Number 7. I would say descendant of the Salem witches. Technically, they weren't witches, but they were accused and hung for witchcraft. And my cousin went and did a family genealogy and was able to trace our ancestry all the way back to the 1600s to 3 of the ladies that were hung as witches in Salem. So that's definitely pretty cool. Number 8. I absolutely hate getting my nails done. And I don't know how to do hair or makeup. Getting nails done, I know a lot. I'd love to have a pretty manicure like everybody else, but I have sensory issues and I can't stand the Dremel tool that they use on your nails when they do a set of nails. So, I can't stand having my nails done. And some women are born with this innate knowledge of how to do hair and makeup. I have none of that. And I don't know if I could even learn. So you see me here with no makeup and nothing done with my hair but a ponytail because I don't know how. Number 9. My all-time favorite movie from any genre is Clerks 2. It's a little bit raunchy if you haven't seen it, but I don't care how many times I watch that movie, I will always laugh at the jokes. So definitely, if you haven't seen Clerks 2 and you don't mind a raunchy comedy, check it out. And number 10, I had a hysterectomy at the age of 24. 15 years ago, back in 2007, actually. This was 14 years ago, almost 15. After the birth of my youngest child, I started having a lot of pain, my abdominal pain, pelvic pain, and ended up having a couple of different laparoscopic surgeries where they found that I did have endometriosis, and battled with that for about 3 years, 3 to 4 years, for about 3 years, and then at the age of 24, I decided that the pain was too much, and I ended up electively having a hysterectomy. There were times when I wish that I maybe would have been able to have one more child, but that wasn't in the cards for me, and I am free from pain, and have been since the surgery, so it all works out, and I feel like even though I maybe would have wanted to have one more child, God knew what was best. If you believe in God, and God knew what I could handle. So that's kind of that. So that's the 10 things that you didn't know about me. I do have an appointment scheduled with my doctor this coming week. I am hoping to get a referral to be tested for autism. And, for the most part, people would look at me and say, well, you don't have autism. You seem so normal, you function. And I've had a lot of years of practice. Learning not to talk, learning to fake it. And try to act as normal as I can, but in reality, it's all an act. I don't know what I'm doing as an adult, and I even told my son, my oldest, the same thing. I just, I know I act like someone, a responsible adult who knows what they're doing, but I really have no clue. And I just get by through from day to day, and people who know me well, when I kind of let that mask off, the people I'm closest to, maybe will realize I'm a little bit different. Well, I think most people realize I'm a little bit different, but I'm not necessarily to the extent that I'm hiding it. So, and the reason that I feel that I have autism is because obviously my oldest son has it. I did a lot of research when he was 4 and we had suspected it, and I realized a lot of the traits that they were talking about in the books applied to me as well. So I'm hopeful that in the next, few months, that I will be able to potentially have a diagnosis. That would be really nice, and it would be really affirming to me that, really just everything that I went through, have gone through my whole life, being different, and, it would just, just validate it, I guess you could say. So I'm kind of looking forward to maybe me getting that answer. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I do have in another video 10 things you don't know about Jeremy from his perspective. So look forward to that coming up probably the next video. Otherwise, I just thank you very much for watching. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button there. Click the bell icon to be notified of new videos. Give me a thumbs up. Please leave any comments, questions, suggestions in the comments below, because I do read them, and I'm very interested to know, what you might want to know. So thank you again for watching. You have a great week.